If you feel that bio is so hard to memorize because there are so many keywords, you're not alone. In this video, I'm going to show you why that is the case, why we feel it so hard, and what's the solution, the secret to memorizing lots of new keywords easily. Plus, I'm going to show you with some real examples in your O-level syllabus, so you can see some real examples of how to use this secret. Hi, my name is Keith Fonseca, also known as That Bio Tutor, and I help O-level bio students to ace the subject while making their lives a lot easier. So let's get straight to it. Why is it so hard to memorize new keywords? The reason is because you don't really understand what the words mean. Why is it such a weird word? It almost seems like a foreign language to you, and when things don't make sense to our brains, it's harder to remember. So the secret to memorizing a lot of new keywords is simply to understand the etymology of those words, meaning how did the words originate? Why did scientists name it that word? When you understand the origin of the word, then it makes sense to you why they named this concept or this thing that certain word, and it's a lot easier to remember. So the next time you come across some weird keyword, just search it plus the word etymology so that you can understand how it came about. Okay, and now I'm going to show you 5 examples using the O-level pure bio syllabus. Example number 1 is this keyword called synapse. So synapse actually means to join together. And it makes sense because it's the junction between two neurons, and that's where two neurons are linked together. Just like how the junction of two roads is what joins two roads together. So synapse means to join together, and this might remind you of a similar word in cell division called synapsis. This is the process where the homologous chromosomes pair up during prophase 1. Do you see why they call it synapsis now? Because the homologous chromosomes are going to join together as pairs. So I hope these two keywords, synapse and synapsis, make a lot more sense to you now. Example number 2 is the word epidermis. Epidermis is the outermost layer of cells surrounding leaves and the stem, as you can see in this picture here. Now, dermis means skin. That's why a skin doctor is called a dermatologist. And epi means outermost. So epidermis means the outermost skin, which makes sense because this is the outermost layer of cells surrounding the plant. Example number 3 is about biconcave. What is this keyword and how do we remember it? So first, let's look at concave. You've probably heard of concave and convex lenses. So the concave lens is called that because, as you can see in this image, it caves in. So that's a concave structure, right? Now what is biconcave? You've probably heard of bi meaning two, just like bicycle has 2 wheels. So when we say red blood cells are biconcave, that means that now they have 2 indentations, 2 areas where they cave in, one on the top and one on the bottom, like you can see in this picture here. So that's why we call red blood cells biconcave. Now on to example number 4, photolysis. What does this word mean? So when you're learning about the processes in photosynthesis, one of the processes is called photolysis of water. That is when water will be broken down into oxygen and hydrogen atoms. The oxygen becomes the oxygen gas, and the hydrogen atoms are later used when forming glucose. So to understand this keyword, photo comes from, well, photons, right, which is light. Just like how photosynthesis is called that because it's using light to make something, which is to make glucose. Then what is lysis? When animal cell fills up with water and it bursts, you can say that it has burst, or you can say that it has lysed. So lyse means to break or to burst. So when you put it together, photolysis means using light to break water molecules. And that's exactly what happens during photolysis of water. And now on to example number 5. If you learn reproduction in plants, you will know that there's this flower part, the base of the flower, called the receptacle. It's such a weird word. It kind of sounds like spectacles, but it's nothing related to that. So if you look at the front of the word recept, it's like receptive, someone who receives information and feedback very readily. It's the base of the flower and it receives all the other parts of the flower. That's why it's called the receptacle. So I really hope you learned something that would help you with memorizing those keywords in the previous 5 examples. As you can see, this is a very powerful technique, and it's honestly what helps me to memorize a lot of keywords, and this is also what I teach to my students in our class. I know some of you are probably thinking now, this is so unfair. Why is it that we have to learn bio and English at the same time? Well, it's because English is the medium by which we are being tested in this subject. Since we are using English to write and to read and to learn and to understand, then it makes sense to be good at English in order to get an advantage over the rest when doing this subject. If this video helped you, please give it a like. It really helps me to know what you guys like. And also please subscribe, because if we get to 1k subs, I can disable all the YouTube ads that are probably showing on my videos to give you guys a better experience. Another common complaint that students like you have is, how do we score well for OEQs? So I made a whole video on that with a checklist of how to score full marks in OEQs. So watch that one over here.